So yesterday we told you about the breaking news that the Federal Court of Appeal issued a ruling ordering citizenship courts in Canada to allow foreign Muslim women to take the oath of Canadian citizenship while wearing a full face-obscuring mask called a burqa or a niqab. Canada's democratically elected government had made the rule that you have to show your face. Well, 3 unelected judges overturned that yesterday. That's un-Canadian. It's degrading to women's equality. It's not our Canadian custom. It's political correctness gone amok. It's the Islamization of Canada. It's Sharia law, not Canadian law. It's wrong. For centuries, showing your face in open court has been part of our British legal inheritance, part of the rule of law, part of our culture, not just of our legal system, but how we treat women. We don't make women wear chastity belts on their faces. We don't treat them like they're merely the property of their men who own them and who cover them up like a piece of meat. There's nothing in the Quran that requires women to wear face-obscuring veils. In fact, as my friend Raheel Raza wrote in the Toronto Sun today, when she was growing up in Pakistan, a Muslim country, as a Muslim woman, she never saw the niqab being worn. It is a new political statement by political Islam. It's not a religious requirement. Yesterday we launched a petition at the website www.showyourface.ca, and I'm pleased to announce in the first 21 hours we have signed up more than 10,000 Canadians demanding that the government appeal this awful court ruling. And I'm pleased to report that today, Chris Alexander, the Minister of Immigration and Citizenship, announced that he would indeed appeal the ruling to the Supreme Court. Now, the media all love the burqa. They love it. Normally, they hate religion. And by normally, I mean when it's a Christian they're talking about. For example, if some Christian bakery didn't want to bake a cake for a gay wedding, well, the media goes nuts. But when a Muslim extremist, a foreigner, mind you, wants to come to Canada but refuses to take off her oath, or take off her veil when she takes the oath of citizenship, so un-Canadian and anti-feminist, these media types all of a sudden find their religion. They come up with all sorts of rationalizations for why they are suddenly just fine with women being treated literally as second-class citizens. I haven't seen Thomas Mulcair of the NDP comment on this subject yet today, but Justin Trudeau did. Here, listen to what he said.
In any situation where a government chooses to limit or restrict individual rights or freedoms, it has to clearly explain why. This government has not done that. It is continuing with the politics of division and even fear, and that is not worthy of a country as diverse and extraordinary as Canada.
Isn't that funny? He condemns Harper as divisive and says how open-minded Trudeau himself is, but he didn't actually defend the burqa in court. Did you notice his choice of wording? He said that Harper just hadn't yet made the case for banning the burqa in court. That's different from Trudeau saying he supports it. He left the impression that he's pro-burqa because he has worked so hard to corral the Muslim vote, but he's also depending on votes from Quebec, where they hate the burqa. It's so contrary to the Quebec and French views on a secular society and the equality of women. So Trudeau's being slippery. He wants it both ways. He's not saying he's for it. He's not saying he's against it. He's being a slippery fish. Now, Gilles Duceppe, I don't know if you remember, but he's running again for the Bloc Québécois. He came out hard against the burqa, not only in court, but in voting and in public services. He knows what Quebecers think, and probably what the rest of us in the country do too. Here, take a listen.
It's only for the ceremony when you're becoming a citizen. We want also that people should vote when time of voting in election with no niqab at all, that we can see the face of the people. Same thing for the services in the public function. I would say that's exactly what the Bouchard-Taylor Commission said in the past. So we're very clear in Quebec for that. I mean, women should not have their face covered in our society.
Seriously, did you know that you can vote in Canada on election day at a polling station without having to take your Muslim face veil off? How nuts is that? I'm going to talk about that on a future video, believe me. Anyway, today's update is to let you know that indeed the Conservatives are going to appeal the ruling. that Trudeau is trying to have it both ways, that Thomas Mulcair hasn't been heard from, at least by the time I recorded this, and Gilles Duceppe of the Bloc wants to ban the burqa in court and at voting time and for public servants. Hey, one more thing. If you haven't signed our petition on this, please do so by clicking here or visiting www.showyourface.ca. You can also help chip into our national opinion poll on this subject. The poll is in the field right now. I hope to have results before the end of the week. And finally, we decided to print up some t-shirts. Check them out. Mosque and state. You got to keep them separated. You can get yourself one of these exclusive t-shirts at our website, www.showyourface.ca too, or just click here. Look, we're still living in Canada, not Saudi Arabia. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.